General Josh Taylor's voice cut through the low hum of the command center as he addressed his staff. They've ignored every attempt at diplomacy. This is no longer a negotiation. It's our home, and we will defend it with everything we have. The words were brief but powerful. Around him, a team of officers and strategists, engineers, tech specialists, military advisors, all straightened, each one sensing the gravity of the situation. Taylor had led humanity through close calls before, but this felt different. This time, Earth was truly on its own. At the head of the alien force was Varric, a feared warlord known for ruthlessness, cunning, and an absolute contempt for humanity. The Galactic Council, encouraged by Varric's ambition and Earth's presumed weakness, had brushed aside humanity's warnings, demanding surrender or destruction. Varric's disdain for humans was evident in every word he'd relayed to Taylor over the past weeks, dismissing Earth's technological advances and daring Taylor to resist the full force of the Council's fleet. "You humans," Varric had sneered in his last message, the translation device distorting his deep, guttural voice, "are naive to think your defenses could repel us. But I admire your stubbornness. It will make your defeat all the more satisfying." Taylor kept that voice replaying in his mind. Varric thought Earth was defenseless, and that arrogance was his weakness. General Taylor, however, knew better. Over the years, humanity had developed powerful defense systems that remain largely unknown to the rest of the galaxy. The Galactic Council had dismissed Earth's rapid technological advancements as mere bluffing. Today, they would learn how wrong they had been. Taylor activated the communication channel and addressed the Galactic Council's fleet directly. His voice was calm but edged with a steel resolve that left no doubt about his intent. "Varric, you've ignored our warnings. Earth does not seek war, but we will not surrender. This is your final chance to turn back. If you cross the threshold into our orbit, we will respond with force. You assume we're defenseless. For the sake of your fleet, I advise you to reconsider." A moment of silence hung heavy, almost evident, before Varric's mocking laughter crackled through the speakers. "Final chance? Oh, I think it's Earth's last chance, General Taylor. We've come too far to back down now. Your threats are as empty as your attempts at diplomacy. Prepare for extinction." The line went silent, and Taylor felt the weight of that moment settle over him and his team. Every person in the room knew the risks. They also knew Taylor well enough to trust his judgment implicitly. Taylor looked to Commander Bishop, his trusted second-in-command, whose face reflected the gravity of the impending battle. "We've exhausted every diplomatic channel," Taylor said, his voice steady. "Activate all defenses. It's time we show the Council what they've underestimated." Across the command center, the crew sprang into action. Technicians activated Earth's orbital shields, a latticework of energy fields that could withstand even the most powerful plasma bursts. Engineers initiated the dormant defense drones, a fleet of sleek, automated machines designed to patrol Earth's perimeter and respond to threats with deadly accuracy. Each drone was equipped with an energy disruptor, a weapon unknown to any alien faction, a tool of precision, capable of dismantling ships with surgical efficiency. As Taylor watched the defense systems come to life, he considered the path that had led humanity here. They had endured isolation, endured the disdain of galactic powers, and endured the threat of annihilation for years. Yet each setback had only made humanity more resilient, more prepared for the day when they would have to fight to survive. Today was that day. "General," Commander Bishop said, his voice steady but carrying a hint of apprehension, "the Council fleet is advancing. They're less than an hour away from breaching the shield perimeter." Taylor took a deep breath and nodded. "All personnel to battle stations. We'll defend Earth with everything we have." He knew the Council was unprepared for the defenses Earth had quietly honed over the years. But he also knew that even with these systems, the fight ahead would not be easy. The fleet approaching Earth was vast, a colossal force that no planet alone had ever repelled. But Earth was more than a planet. It was a symbol of human tenacity, of a people who had clawed their way to survival countless times before. As the minutes ticked down, Taylor took one last look at the screens, then at his team, who had stood by him through every crisis. He knew this was more than a battle. This was humanity's statement to the galaxy, a testament to their right to exist, to choose their own destiny, and to defend what they had built. Everyone, remember what's at stake here, he said. Our strength isn't in our numbers. It's in our spirit. No matter what happens, make them remember us. With that, he straightened, resolute, and awaited the inevitable clash. The stakes were higher than they'd ever been, and Varric would soon learn the cost of underestimating Earth's final warning. The stars shimmered like scattered diamonds across the endless void, serene and indifferent. But within moments, that tranquil expanse was shattered as the Galactic Council fleet emerged from hyperspace, ships appearing in clusters, bristling with weapons and gleaming with the cold, metallic sheen of war. Thousands of vessels, from colossal dreadnoughts to nimble fighter ships, materialized in Earth's outer orbit, forming an intimidating wall of firepower. General Josh Taylor stood in Earth's command center, his expression hard as he observed the incoming armada on the central display. He had expected a force, but the sheer scale of this invasion was staggering. He could see Varric's strategy clearly. This wasn't just an invasion. It was a display of dominance meant to send a message to all of humanity. The Council intended to crush Earth's spirit before it even thought to resist. Across the solar system, the Council's fleet began its advance, a terrifying swarm of lights inching toward Earth. Varric's flagship, a massive, crescent-shaped behemoth known as the Relentless, led the fleet, looming in front of the others like a harbinger of destruction. Inside the command center of the Relentless, Varric's face twisted into a sneer as he gazed at the blue planet ahead, so small and seemingly defenseless against his power. He opened the communication channel, his image appearing on the central screen in Earth's command center. His red eyes glinted with malice, and a cruel smile played at the edges of his sharp, scaled face. General Taylor, Varric's voice drawled, thick with disdain. We've arrived to deliver you from your illusions of grandeur. I would advise surrender, but I doubt you'll be wise enough to comply. So be it. Witness the might of the Council. Taylor stared back, expression unreadable. You made a mistake coming here, Varric. Your fleet will find no victory, only resistance. Varric laughed, a hollow, grating sound that echoed through the command center. Resistance? I've seen nothing from humanity worth resisting. Prepare yourself, General. I will enjoy watching your planet burn. The screen flickered off, and a tense silence fell over the command center. Taylor turned to his team, his expression steely but calm. Initiate the shield activation sequence. Let's see how eager they are to test our defenses. Commander Bishop nodded, issuing the order. In orbit, a network of satellite generators hummed to life, emitting a faint blue glow as they began to activate Earth's planetary shield. Within seconds, a shimmering energy field formed around Earth, wrapping the planet in a dome of protection that pulsed with latent power. It was humanity's last line of defense, and it had been crafted to withstand the deadliest weapons the galaxy could produce. The shield came to life just as Varric's fleet began its assault. Waves of plasma bolts and missile volleys rained down on the barrier, colliding with blinding flashes of light. The energy shield held firm, absorbing the onslaught with barely a tremor. The blast that had reduced entire planets to ash elsewhere in the galaxy splashed harmlessly against Earth's barrier, their power dissipating in flares of blue and white. Inside the Relentless, Varric's confidence wavered as he watched his fleet's initial strikes fizzle against the shield. His officers exchanged nervous glances, unease spreading among the ranks. Varric scowled, refusing to admit the possibility of a mistake. Intensify the attack, he ordered, his voice laced with frustration. Break that shield. Show them the full power of the Council. Taylor watched as the assault escalated, his gaze steady. He knew the shield wouldn't hold forever under this barrage, but he didn't need it to. He glanced at Commander Bishop and nodded. It was time to deploy Earth's countermeasure, their own secret weapon. a fleet of autonomous drones equipped with advanced energy disruptors designed to neutralize enemy ships with precision. "Deploy the drone fleet," Taylor commanded. "It's time we give them a real demonstration of Earth's capabilities." Dozens of drone pods launched from hidden silos on the moon and from Earth's orbital platforms, releasing sleek, dark drones that spread across space like a deadly swarm. Each drone was a marvel of human engineering, silent and agile, armed with energy disruptors that could tear through enemy shields and hulls with ruthless efficiency. As the drones closed in, Varric's fleet adjusted to intercept them, launching fighters and setting up defensive formations. But the human drones moved with a speed and precision that the Council's forces hadn't anticipated. One by one, Council ships began to fall. The drones struck with pinpoint accuracy, tearing through engines, disabling weapon systems, and leaving trails of wreckage in their wake. Varric watched in growing fury as his warships disintegrated around him, their hulking forms reduced to drifting debris. His pride was wounded, his confidence cracked. He slammed a clawed fist onto the arm of his command chair, eyes blazing. "Enough! Send the dreadnoughts forward. Wipe these pests from the stars," he shouted, desperate to turn the tide. But it was already too late. The Council fleet was in disarray, overwhelmed by the swarm of drones that had dismantled their forces with surgical precision. Varric's once imposing armada was reduced to scattered, flaming wreckage, the blue glow of Earth's shield still intact behind the drifting remains. In Earth's command center, the tension eased as Taylor and his team observed the battlefield. The first wave had been repelled, and Varric's fleet was decimated, his arrogance laid bare. Taylor allowed himself a grim smile. "They underestimated us, and they paid the price," he said quietly. "Let's prepare for any remaining threats." Varric isn't one to give up so easily. As Earth's forces regrouped and prepared for the possibility of another assault, the wreckage of Varric's fleet floated helplessly in orbit, a testament to the power and resilience humanity had worked so hard to forge. The Galactic Council had come to conquer, but Earth had delivered a message of its own, one that echoed through the stars with undeniable force. The silence of space was broken by the flickering remains of what had once been the Galactic Council's pride. Wreckage drifted listlessly, jagged remnants of mighty vessels that had once dominated entire star systems, now reduced to glowing embers in the shadow of Earth. In the midst of the destruction, the relentless, Varric's flagship, was one of the few vessels left operational, though heavily damaged. General Josh Taylor observed the carnage on the command center's main display, his expression solemn. Varric had pushed Earth to the edge, but now he was learning a brutal lesson. Humanity was not as weak as he'd assumed. "General," Commander Bishop said, breaking the silence, "the Council fleet is scattering. We've taken out most of their heavy cruisers. It seems the remainder of their forces are beginning to retreat." Taylor nodded, though his gaze stayed fixed on the image of the relentless. "Varric won't retreat. He's too proud to accept defeat." He narrowed his eyes, anticipating the warlord's next move. "Keep the drones focused on any ships trying to reorganize or engage. We need to end this decisively." As the drones continued their methodical sweep, eliminating the last of the active alien fighters, Varric's rage grew. Inside the command bridge of the Relentless, he watched the remains of his fleet spiral into oblivion. His clenched fist shook, his claws digging into the arms of his chair. How could this backwater planet have so completely decimated the Council's forces? "Commander Tarek," Varric snapped, addressing his second-in-command, "order all remaining ships to regroup around the Relentless. We will not leave until we've torn their defenses apart." Commander Tarek hesitated, his face pale, as he glanced at the monitors showing their dwindling numbers. "Warlord, the fleet is in ruins. We've lost over 80% of our ships, and the human drones continue to cut us down. It may be wise to reconsider our strategy." Varric's red eyes blazed with fury. "Reconsider? I will not be humiliated by a planet of primitives. We are the Galactic Council. Order the dreadnoughts forward. If we die, We die with honor. Despite his reluctance, Tarek relayed the command. The few remaining dreadnoughts lumbered forward, weapons charged, moving with a grim determination toward Earth's defenses. On the surface, Taylor watched the incoming assault unfazed. "They're making a final push," he remarked to Bishop. "Have the drones intercept the dreadnoughts. Focus on targeting their weapon systems first." The drones moved with ruthless efficiency, darting toward the incoming dreadnoughts like a swarm of hornets. Earth's disruptor drones struck with precise, devastating accuracy, targeting engines, shield generators, and weapons with pinpoint strikes that crippled the massive warships. One by one, the dreadnoughts fell, reduced to drifting husks in the cold expanse of space. On the Relentless, Varric's frustration reached a boiling point. His vision was filled with flashing warnings, alarms blaring as reports of ship losses continued to pour in. He had never known such defeat, such utter helplessness. In a desperate move, he ordered the Relentless to charge forward alone, a final attempt to reach Earth orbit and destroy the human command center himself. In Earth's control room, Taylor observed Varric's last-ditch effort with a steely calm. "He's coming in for a direct assault," he said, watching as the flagship broke away from the remaining vessels, its engines flaring as it cut a desperate path toward Earth. Commander Bishop glanced at Taylor. "Shall we target the Relentless directly, sir?" Taylor considered it for a moment, then nodded. "Let's finish this. Focus our orbital disruptors on his ship." It's time we send Varric a clear message. A series of commands were issued, and Earth's orbital platforms shifted, their disruptor cannons aligning with the Relentless as it barreled forward. In seconds, beams of concentrated energy lanced out, striking Varric's flagship with brutal precision. The Relentless shuddered, its hull tearing as energy disruptors ripped through its defenses, leaving it vulnerable and exposed. Inside the flagship, Varric felt the jolt of each impact, his rage melting into something he hadn't felt in decades: fear. The great warlord, who had conquered countless worlds, was now facing the unimaginable. His vision clouded with disbelief as he watched his own ship systems fail, his once mighty command reduced to a burning wreck. Desperately, he opened a communication channel to Taylor. His face appeared on Earth's main screen, a ghost of the once proud warrior he had been. "General Taylor." Varric's voice was strained, filled with the bitter taste of defeat. This isn't over. Humanity may have won today, but you will regret this defiance." Taylor met Varric's glare with unwavering resolve. "You attacked our home, ignored our warnings, and sacrificed your own people out of arrogance. We defended ourselves. Leave now, Varric. Tell the Council that Earth will not be threatened." For a moment, Varric looked as though he might refuse. But the cold reality of his shattered fleet and crippled ship forced his pride to yield. With a last venomous glare, he cut the transmission, the screen going dark as the Relentless drifted away, engines flickering as it limped back into the depths of space. As the remaining alien vessels withdrew, Taylor allowed himself a moment to breathe. Earth had faced the Galactic Council's full might and emerged victorious. But he knew this would not be the end. Varric would return, and the Council would not easily forget the humiliation they had suffered. "Sir," Bishop said, breaking the silence, "we've driven them back. The fleet is retreating." Taylor nodded, his eyes still fixed on the dark expanse where Varric's ship had vanished. "For now," he replied, a note of caution in his voice. "But this is only the beginning. The Council will come back with an even greater force. Let them remember what happened here. Let them know Earth is ready." As the last of the Council's ships disappeared into the void, a quiet sense of triumph settled over the command center. Earth had not only survived, they had proven themselves a force to be reckoned with. And while the stars around them returned to silence, humanity stood prepared, resolute, and unbroken, ready for whatever came next. The dust of the cosmic battle began to settle, with debris from the Galactic Council's shattered fleet now orbiting Earth, a silent testament to humanity's unyielding resistance. The atmosphere within Earth's command center was electric, a blend of victory and relief tempered by the weight of what they had accomplished and what it meant. General Josh Taylor took a deep breath, scanning the silent screens displaying remnants of the battle. The Council's fleet was gone, but the cost of humanity's newfound reputation as a galactic power lingered in his mind. "Well done, everyone," Taylor said, his voice calm but resonant with pride. Around him, his officers and soldiers exchanged nods, a shared understanding passing among them. They had stood against one of the galaxy's most feared forces and had come out on top. Commander Bishop stepped forward, a rare smile on his usually stern face. "Sir, reports are coming in from all sectors. Our defense systems are fully intact, minimal damage. The drones performed beyond expectations." Taylor nodded, placing a firm hand on Bishop's shoulder. "Our engineers and scientists have outdone themselves. This day belongs to them as much as anyone here. Make sure they know that." He knew Earth's victory wasn't merely a product of the military strategy. Every scientist, engineer, and citizen who had contributed to the defense program had made this victory possible. Humanity's resilience was a collective effort, a testament to a species that had clawed its way up from adversity time and again. As the command center staff continued their assessments, a new message came through the interstellar communication link. The seal of the Galactic Council appeared on screen, but instead of Varric's face, a council representative sat in shadow, barely visible. The representative's tone, however, was unmistakably subdued. "General Taylor of Earth," the voice said, clear yet with a strain of bitterness, "the Council has received word of today's events. While we do not condone your extreme resistance, it appears we have underestimated your people. This message is to acknowledge your capabilities and to inform you that Earth will no longer be classified as a subordinate world. You will have the same rights and responsibilities as other member planets within the Council's dominion." Taylor's expression remained impassive, though a glint of satisfaction showed in his eyes. The Council's announcement, though reluctant, signaled a monumental shift. Earth was no longer a remote, inconsequential world, but an equal, one that had earned the galaxy's respect and, perhaps more importantly, its caution. The representative paused, then added with a sharper edge, "However, General, know that this recognition is not a pardon. Earth will be monitored closely. Any further hostile actions will be met with swift retribution. The Council will not tolerate another display of insolence." Taylor responded with a level gaze. "Noted. And I assure you, the people of Earth wish only for peace and autonomy. But we will not hesitate to defend ourselves again if threatened. Convey that message to the Council." The screen blinked off, and for a moment, silence filled the room as the weight of Earth's new status began to settle in. They were no longer outsiders looking up at the stars. They were recognized players on the galactic stage, a double-edged sword that would bring both opportunity and risk. Bishop turned to Taylor, a flicker of excitement in his eyes. "They had no choice but to acknowledge us, sir. Earth is finally seen for what it is." Taylor nodded thoughtfully. "This changes everything. We'll need to prepare for the attention this will bring from the Council, from other species. They may treat us as equals now, but we've also painted a target on our backs." As the command team continued their work, Earth's leaders, scientists, and engineers were already receiving news of the Council's reluctant recognition. For the first time, they could imagine a future beyond mere survival, beyond Earth's borders. A future where humanity would forge its path in the stars. Meanwhile, the galaxy's reaction to the Council's defeat was beginning to ripple outward. Messages flooded in from sympathizers and allies. Species that had endured the Council's iron-fisted rule for ages, many of whom now saw Earth's victory as a beacon of hope. They admired the resilience, the resourcefulness, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity, qualities that had allowed Earth to survive and thrive where others had fallen. Back on Earth, Taylor received a notification, a private message from an unexpected source. Varric's name appeared on his console, but instead of anger, Taylor felt a cautious curiosity. He opened the message. Varric's voice was lower than before, the tone hard but devoid of the earlier arrogance. General Taylor, today I lost more than ships. I lost honor. But I see now what I failed to recognize before. Humanity's strength is unique. You fight as if you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. We may meet again under different terms. But next time, remember, I will not underestimate you. Taylor regarded the message with a hint of respect. Varric, for all his pride, had acknowledged his defeat. Taylor felt a strange satisfaction, not in the enemy's loss but in the respect they had earned, even from one as relentless as Varric. He closed the message and turned to Bishop, who had seen the transmission, and gave him a nod. "What now, generals?" Taylor straightened, his gaze steely yet hopeful. "We rebuild, we strengthen, and we watch. The Council's attention is on us now, and others will come, some as allies, others as threats. Earth has claimed its place among the stars, but it's up to us to hold it." As Taylor looked out at the distant stars, he knew that Earth's path would not be easy. But for the first time, they were ready, united in a resolve that spanned oceans and continents. Humanity would face what lay ahead with the same grit and courage that had carried them through this battle, and they would make their mark on the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as survivors, pioneers, and defenders of their world and ideals. In the cold depths of space, Varric's fleet remnants faded from sight, but the fire that Earth had ignited now burned brightly, a testament to their strength. And as the command center's lights dimmed, Taylor felt the weight of history settle on his shoulders, certain that humanity's story was only just beginning.